Lord Ram Lalla is set to tour the premises of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi temple today. This is the second day of the week-long pre-pran pratishtha ceremony at Ayodhya. Now do remember the 7-day rituals of the ceremony or the consecration have actually now begun, and they will continue till January the 21st, and that is when they culminate, and then all the preparations for the big day, that is the 22nd, where the Prime Minister will also be in attendance. We also have our teams tracking that story, and I'm told Priyanka is joining us live right now. You know, Priyanka, many people say that January the 22nd perhaps is a day that is uniting the country like never before. You know, people from all walks of life, people from all communities, they do realize that this is a day that somehow relates to all of us in our own little ways. Now, you've spent the large part of the last many weeks touring, speaking to a lot of people in Ayodhya, Priyanka. First up, I must understand from you that what is it that you have seen? What is it that you would want to describe for our viewers?
Well, absolutely, Deepthi, and a very interesting point that you have brought up for our viewers to understand exactly what's happening on the ground, because we are on one hand tracking all the political statements that are coming in from the India Alliance leaders, who time and time again are also shifting and changing their statements. A lot of ambiguity as far as the entire bloc goes as to where they stand on this entire issue of the Ram temple. But here for the people of Ayodhya, here on the ground, they are completely insulated from these kind of statements. In fact, they are scoffing at it, they are smiling at it, and they're saying that there's nothing new, that these kind of statements are reflecting as far as Ayodhya goes, as far as the opinions of these political parties go for Ayodhya, because they are saying that for several years and decades that these are the leaders who have used the people of Ayodhya for their own appeasement politics. They are the ones who have kept Ayodhya in the dark and not let it develop. Those are the kind of statements and the sentiments that we pick up from the people of Ayodhya as far as the opposition leaders go, and their statements are concerned as far as the declining of the invitation, the making statements that this is not the real land over which the dispute was going on, the other statements of how this is a marriage of religion and politics, the other statements of them saying that they will visit after the temple construction is completed. All of the people of Ayodhya, in fact, are hearing this, are listening to this, and are completely saying and rejecting that these kind of statements should not be made so close to the 22nd of January, and that the 22nd of January is a day for the matter of the people's faith and not a political event that the leaders are trying to make it out to be. In fact, they are saying that this is the crescendo of the 500 years of struggle that the people of Ayodhya, in fact, have seen as far as the temple construction goes. A very emotional movement, you know, Deepthi, when we talk to each and every person of Ayodhya, a very emotional movement for all of them, for them to, talk about the 22nd of January, for them to talk about the construction of Ram temple. And another, instance that really reflects this is that the kind of preparation that is going on for the 22nd of January, there was a decision that had been taken by the government machinery to not actually carry out the parikrama of Lord Ram idol in the entire city, keeping in mind that the kind of sentiment that people have, there will be a lot of chaos, because everybody would want to take the darshan of Ram Lalla is something that they had said in these meetings, and that really helps us understand how the people of Ayodhya have been feeling and how they are in fact waiting. In fact, the projections for 23rd of January and the footfall that is expected by the entire government machinery is crossing over 1.5 lakhs. And that in itself is a reflection of how people of Ayodhya are responding to it. If we pan our cameras and show our viewers how people, not just of Ayodhya, but from across the country are pouring into Ayodhya right now, because we have one such team that is joining us right now from Karnataka. They have brought in this entire truck. We'd like to show you the visuals of the truck as well, as to how they have made these decorations, how they are giving this ode to Lord Ram. And these are some of the saints and seers who have come from Karnataka especially, and we will try to get in a word from them about all of it, the preparation that is going on and also the politics around it, because they are listening to it. Each and every person here in Ayodhya and the entire country is listening to it, and they are responding to it as well. First up, let's understand what essentially is going on here and how the preparation is also being carried out. सर, हमारे दर्शकों को अगर आप बता पाएं क्या इस तरह यहाँ पे लेकर आए हैं, काफी सुंदर ये ट्रक सजाया हुआ हमें दिख रहा है, क्या कुछ है यहाँ पर, क्या कुछ आप ले आए हैं लॉर्ड राम के?
रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। अंजनी गर्भ संभूत कपीन्द्र सचिवोत्तम राम प्रे नमस्तुभ्यम हनुमान रक्ष सर्वदा। क्षेत्रपालक देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। आज अत्यंत प्रसन्नता की बात है कि अयोध्या में एक भव्य कार्यक्रम, ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम संपन्न हो रहे हैं। इसीलिए सब लोगों को शुभकामना है। इसके साथ साथ आप पूछ रहे हैं कि अभी क्या तैयारी हो रही है। श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जब मंदिर की बनने की बात आया, भगवान के लिए अत्यंत प्रसन्नता की बात है कि त्रेता युग में जब श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की एक समस्या खड़े हो गया, सीता मैया को राक्षस लोग अपहरण कर दिया, उस समय श्री रामचंद्र भगवान को कौन सहायता किया, सीता मैया को लाज को कौन बचाया? वही हनुमान जी। संकट मोचन, जो भी संकट सामने पैदा हो जाता है, आता है, सारी संकटों को निवारण करके एक धर्म रास्ता दिखाने वाले साक्षात हनुमान जी अपना प्रभु के लिए अयोध्या में मंदिर बनने की समय, प्राण प्रतिष्ठा की समय खुद ही हनुमान जी अपना जन्मभूमि से आकर अयोध्या में खड़े हो गया। इस ऐतिहासिक कार्य को साक्षी बनने के लिए, देखने के लिए, न केवल इतना की बात नहीं, उसमें कोई कमी भी न हो, कोई कमी है तो उसको भी सुधारने के लिए, और हनुमान जी का बहुत सारी दायित्व होता है। सन्यासी वेश में आ गया कालनेमी, वो लोगों को भी दमन करने के लिए साक्षात अभी हनुमान जी अपना प्रभु की सेवा में साक्षात नहीं आया। अयोध्या में जो भी कार्य करना है तो पहला दायित्व हनुमान जी का है, तो भी हनुमान जी यहाँ से पहले पिताजी के पास आने के पहले माताजी के पास जाकर, मतलब सीता मैया के पास जाकर नेपाल में यात्रा करके माताजी से आशीर्वाद लेकर बिहार में सीतामढ़ी में पुरोनोधा में सीता मैया की जन्मस्थली में जाकर आमंत्रण पत्रिका समर्पण करके सीता मैया के संपूर्ण अनुग्रह पाकर अयोध्या में अभी खड़े हो गया।
उसी तरह ये रथ को आपने घुमाया है, काफी सारी जगह पे आप भ्रमण करके यहाँ पर अयोध्या पहुँचे हैं। 22 जनवरी को भी आप अंदर रहने वाले हैं, तो किस तरह से पूरा भ्रमण हुआ और क्या क्या इसकी खासियत है? हम देख रहे हैं काफी सारे लोग यहाँ पर आके इसको देखना चाह रहे हैं, समझना चाह रहे हैं।
अभी ये क्या है, ये हनुमत जन्मभूमि किष्किंधा रथ है। किसके लिए बना? जैसा राम जन्मभूमि में राम भगवान के लिए मंदिर बन रहे हैं, ऐसे ही हनुमत जन्मभूमि किष्किंधा में भी हनुमान जी के लिए भव्य मंदिर का निर्माण का कार्य आरंभ होने वाले हैं। उसकी पहले वहाँ हनुमत जन्मभूमि में निर्माण होने वाले मंदिर में प्रतिष्ठित होने वाले दरबार इस रथ में है। क्यों इस रथ में रखा? हमें हनुमत जन्मभूमि में निर्माण होने वाले मंदिर में प्रतिष्ठित होने वाले दरबार पहले राम जन्मभूमि में आकर राम भगवान से आशीर्वाद लेकर तब जाएंगे किष्किंधा, तब प्रतिष्ठित होता है, तभी हनुमान जी प्रसन्न होता है ना। और इसके साथ साथ न केवल हनुमत जन्मभूमि में मंदिर निर्माण की बात, अपितु हनुमान जी के एक और दायित्व भी है, चिरंजीवी हैं। इसीलिए संपूर्ण भारत देश 12 साल रथ यात्रा भी आरंभ हुआ।
मैं आपसे एक और सवाल पूछूंगी, क्योंकि आपने खुद मुझसे ये बात छेड़ी थी अभी कुछ मिनट हम बात कर रहे थे तब, क्योंकि राजनीति भी काफी बात हो रही है इसके ऊपर, उसको किस तरह से आप देखते हैं? हम वही बात कर रहे हैं, हमारे दर्शकों तक भी पहुंचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो लोग अयोध्या में हैं, जो लोग बाहर हैं, पूरे देश में हैं, वो किस तरह से ऐसी बयानबाजी को देख रहे हैं, जो पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट्स बार बार आ रहे हैं, या वो टीएमसी हो, या वो आम आदमी पार्टी हो, या वो कांग्रेस पार्टी हो, किस तरह से ऐसे जो बयानबाजी आ रही है उसको किस तरह देखते?
हम तो धार्मिक सन्यासी हैं, जो भी बोलेंगे धर्मानुरूप बोलेंगे, धर्मानुरूप। ये एक विषय आपको समझा देते हैं। राक्षस लोग त्रेता युग में भी थे, अभी भी हैं, और विशेष रूप से हनुमान जी के जब बाहर चाहे तो कहीं भी राजनीति कीजिए, जब हनुमान जी का एक बार पदार्पण हो गया तो हनुमान जी के सामने नाटक ये सभी नहीं चलने वाले हैं, क्योंकि राम भगवान की कार्य निर्विघ्नता से होना है तो हनुमान जी जब खड़े हो जाता है, पार्टी वाले हो, न केवल पार्टी वाले भी, आप पार्टी लोगों की बात कर रही हैं, हमें फर्जी बाबाओं के बारे में भी बात कर रही हैं। अभी वर्तमान की बात में आप प्रश्न पूछ रही हैं, कुछ पार्टी लोग प्रश्न उठा रही हैं सीधा सीधा, मंदिर का प्रतिष्ठा शास्त्र विधान से नहीं हो रही है, मंदिर अधूरा बना है, ऐसे हम नहीं जा रहे करके आमंत्रण को वो लोग धिक्कार कर रहे हैं, एक गलत है। क्योंकि यहाँ जो भी कार्यक्रम हो रहे हैं, आपको इनविटेशन दिया, सम्मान पूर्वक आकर बोलना चाहिए, नहीं तो बाद में आएंगे करके बोलना चाहिए, पर तो बॉयकट करने की विधान यहाँ नहीं है। एक और बात भी, आप राजनीति की बात बोल रहे हैं आप, क्योंकि हमारा दायित्व होता है सारी लोगों को धर्म मार्गदर्शन देना। ये समस्या कहाँ हुआ, पैदा हुआ मालूम है आपको? क्यों पूरा जानकारी हमारे पास है, जानता है हमें कि राम नगरी में बैठकर बोल रहे हैं, हमारे एक एक वाक्य के ऊपर का मतलब हनुमान जन्मभूमि का पूरा खड़ा ही इज्जत की सवाल है। ये समस्या पैदा हुआ जब चारों शंकराचार्य आपत्ति उठाया, यही बात है ना, पूरा दुनिया में एक ही मैसेज जा रही है ना, चारों शंकराचार्य नहीं जा रहे हैं, अरे धर्माचार्य इसको विरोध कर दिया, खंडन कर दिया, बस मोदी गलत कर दिया, ट्रस्ट गलत कर दिया, ये प्रतिष्ठा ही नहीं है, सारी नहीं बोलना चाहिए, नाम तो बदनाम हो रही है ना, ये विषय नहीं है। पहला क्या हुआ कि चारों शंकराचार्य इसको विरोध नहीं किया। आप देख लीजिए, जब मोदी आकर यह भूमि पूजन किया ना, उस समय चारों शंकराचार्य विरोध किया क्या? नहीं भी किया। अब क्यों कर रही हैं? ये राजनीति है। इसमें अविमुक्तेश्वरानंद सरस्वती करके जो बोल रहे हैं वो शंकराचार्य नहीं हैं, वो फर्जी नंबर 1 बाबा हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट उसके ऊपर रोक लगा दिया। अभी आप रिपब्लिक वाले अर्नब गोस्वामी अविमुक्तेश्वरानंद को लाइव पर लेके आकर एक ही विषय पूछ लीजिए, अरे भैया अविमुक्तेश्वरानंद सरस्वती जी, आपके ऊपर सुप्रीम कोर्ट रोक लगा दिया, आप कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट कर रहे हैं, आप शंकराचार्य नहीं हैं, क्यों बदनाम कर रहे हैं? अभी वो आकर राम भगवान के ऊपर सवाल उठा रहे हैं ना, अभी उसका फूल घुट जाएगा रहस्य। और Ram Janmabhoomi.
So, a lot of passionate, arguments from him as well, as far as the Shankaracharyas also go. Thank you so much for speaking to us. But essentially, Deepthi, this is the sentiment of the people here as well who are present here. In fact, all of them saying that this is not a political event. This is a religious event. This is an event for the faith of the people of Ayodhya, for the faith of the people of the country. And that is why there should not be any politics around it. And just like this one, the kind of preparation, the kind of, the Rath Yatras that are coming in here from across the country, we are looking at here in Ayodhya, pouring in from across the country. And this essentially shows the faith of the people, the preparation of the people for the 22nd of January. In fact, we go in each and every nook and cranny of Ayodhya, and that helps us understand how each and every person is gearing up for the 22nd of January. There are thousands of langars, in fact, Deepthi, that have been put up. Many of them have also been put up by the family members of the Kar Sevaks who lost their lives in 1990. Apart from that, we are also looking at people who have come from across the world, in fact, to give their services and the Shramdan, as they call it, here in the Ayodhya. In fact, we also spoke to several of the workers who had been inside carrying out the construction work of the temple, who have said that they will, in fact, donate all of their salary and wages back to the trust so that there can be a better construction of the temple as well. So this is a matter of faith of the people of Ayodhya, of the people of the country, and that essentially is the sentiment that we pick up here on the ground as well. People completely insulated from these political statements of the opposition parties, and Ayodhya gearing up for the 22nd of January, Deepthi.
All right, Priyanka, for the moment, thank you for getting us that entire insight and that conversation. And many would say that this is also a day that perhaps kills whatever, and some people believe is the North versus the South divide. Interesting are those responses that come in from the state of Karnataka there, that Priyanka got us. And also earlier, remember, a Kalash yatra took place in Ayodhya. Sit back and watch how the yatra travelled. What is the kind of response it received?
We are bringing you another report from the banks of the Saryu River, where another part of the pran pratishtha ceremony is also being carried out. We'll try to show you the visuals since we have a lot of priests who are carrying out the Kalash yatra here. And we also have the trust member Arun Mishra as well, who is carrying out those puja, the rituals, the customs as per the rituals as well. And we are showing you the visuals of this Kalash Yatra that will be carried out at the banks of the Saryu River, another very significant and a religiously significant place as well. Every evening we see the Saryu River Aarti that is also being carried out, and this time of course on that exact bank of the Saryu River we are looking at the Kalash Yatra rituals also being carried out. You can look at the priests who are chanting the mantras. And this, of course, is just moments after the idol has also been placed, as you very rightly pointed out, Shivangi. The idol has been taken inside of the temple. It has been placed inside of the temple, and there will be a parikrama that will be carried out with the idol as well, which has been selected of Arun Yogiraj, and it weighs about 150 to 200 kgs. And there will be a parikrama that will be carried out of the idol. And then, of course, in the backdrop of that, we are looking at these visuals of the side-by-side, the Kalash Yatra that will be carried out. As of now, there is a lot of religiously significant, the water that is being poured into these Kalash, and this Kalash in fact will be taken around the entire Saryu Ghat, and we will in fact see the entire rituals being carried out by the priests who are also present here, who are chanting the mantras as we speak. And we also have Dr. Mishra as well, who's carrying out the entire Kalash Yatra rituals as well, because he is the one who's doing these rituals on the part of the Prime Minister as well, as far as the pran pratishtha goes. As we can see that of course the main consecration ceremony will take place on the 22nd of January, but in the run up to that there are a lot of rituals that have been planned for these several days, and we are looking at a part of those rituals that are being carried out right here at the banks of the Saryu River. And of course as we speak we are also looking at the preparations that are being carried out by the people of Ayodhya, by the trust members, and by in fact each and every person who is in Ayodhya, and the government machinery as well, who has been involved in the preparations and the logistics as well as far as the pran pratishtha goes. We will try to also speak to several of the priests as well to understand how in fact this Kalash Yatra is going to be carried out, because you can see several of these Kalash that have been placed here. You can see the mantra.
बोलिए सरयू माता की जय, राम चंद्र की जय, लल्ला की जय, बजरंग बली की जय, जनक नंदिनी सीता मैया की जय.
So you can see, all of these priests who are in fact carrying out, we will try to speak to them to understand how in fact the Kalash Yatra will be carried out. But of course he's with Dr. Mishra as well, who's carrying out the rituals here. Of course another very significant part of the trust member who is carrying out the consecration ceremony. Sir, ये थोड़ा बताइए हमें इसका महत्व क्या है, ये जो कलश यात्रा हो रही है.
कलश यात्रा हमें पूजा में जो उपयोगी जल लेना है वो सबसे पवित्र होना चाहिए, अभिमंत्रित होना चाहिए और शुद्ध नदी का होना चाहिए. इस कारण से यहाँ पर जल के रूप में सरयू नदी का पूजन किया गया और नववर्धिनी कलशों में उनको भरा गया मंत्रों के द्वारा, और फिर सुवासिनियों का पूजन करके उनके मस्तक पर जब तक सुवासिनी कलश नहीं उठाती तब तक पूजा पूरी नहीं होती, तो उनका भी सत्कार किया गया और ये कलश वहाँ जाएंगे और इसके जल से वहाँ की पूरी आराधना प्रतिष्ठा समारोह संपन्न होगा.
रामलला को चढ़ाया जाएगा.
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल अवश्य उनका अभिषेक होगा.
और आगे फिर क्या क्या इसमें प्रतिक्रिया रहेगी? Essentially how this consecration ceremony, part of the rituals are being carried out. Of course we will try to keep going to that, and we'll try to show our viewers the visuals of this ceremony. Another very important part of this ceremony that is being carried out here in the form of the Kalash Yatra, and of course this water that has been just explained to us by the priest is also going to be also showered on the idol of Ram Lalla that has in fact been placed inside of the temple. All of these Kalash will be taken by the people of the trust. They will be mounting it on their heads, and then of course making an entire round of the Saryu Ghat as well. They will be keeping a round, doing a parikrama of this entire Saryu Ghat river, to understand how in fact essentially this consecration ceremony will also go on. We will try to speak to some of the ladies here in fact who are going to be mounting the Kalash on their heads. आप बताइए ये कलश यात्रा चल रही है, किस तरह से ये पूरी पूजा अभी यहाँ पर?
अभी बहुत अच्छे से यहाँ पूजा हुई है, बहुत भाव से, बहुत प्रेम से सब लोग कलश की पूजा की। ये दूसरा दिन है और आज बहुत भाग्यशाली है जो कलश लेने का मौका मिला है। शायद भगवान जी यहाँ आ गए हैं और देखिए रोम रोम मेरा एकदम बिल्कुल थर्रा रहा है, तो भगवान की कृपा है। थैंक यू।
अब ये पूरी यात्रा पूरे सरयू घाट पे होगी, अब पूरी कलश यात्रा।
जी जी जी, पूरी यात्रा होगी। अब ये जाएगा कलश यात्रा में भगवान
को राम लला को भी अर्पण किया जाएगा।
जी 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 जी।
So we'll try to speak to some more of them. In fact, the women who are, mounting the kalash on their heads. मैम आप बताइए, आप ये कलश यात्रा के साथ में चल रही है, पूरी कलश यात्रा कर रही हैं।
जी, ये सौभाग्य है मेरा कि मुझे ये मौका मिल रहा है कि मैं इस कलश यात्रा में शामिल हो रही हूँ।
You can see that, all of them in fact saying that this is a blessing for them, that they are taking part in this historic moment in this Kalash Yatra as well. And as they are going to be making an entire round of the Saryu River, and then of course the Saryu Ghat, and then of course this water will be taken to the Ram Lalla idol.